Next, we have Clay Wooten, who has been a member on and off for 11 years with CFRI, has done a lot of deals, and he's going to tell us about a different type of deal.
Hi folks, I'm Clay Wooten, and I've been a member of CFRI for about 11 years, a full-time investor since 2009. Okay, here's my... All right, what this was this was a referral. There was a real estate agent who I'd actually bought her home in Winter Park. I demolished it. I built a spec home down at Parkland Drive, just off Winter Park Drive, north of Corinne. And she called me about a year later because she also knew that I do a lot of short sales. And she needed help with this one because the bank was coming back at unrealistic values. So I got in place and I came in as the buyer and ended up getting the bank down about $150,000 from where they were. So the after repair value of this property, if you had put work into it, again, it had a very bad floor plan, needed probably 175 to 200 in repairs. So the ARV, maybe 650 to 700. This is actually on Little Lake Fairview. You know that lake on the southwest corner of Fairbanks and I-4? That it's a nice 3/4 acre piece of property there. So there's three things. This is a deal that actually any one of you could do, even if you had no money. Okay, the way that I did it, in the end, there were three possibilities. Number one was to rehab the property and try and make some money on it. Number two was to tear the property down, tear the structure down and develop it. And I was actually going through with this gentleman right here. He was helping me in the zoning department at Orange County to split the lot and get a septic variance. So I could split the lot and actually get lake access for both lots. One of those lots was not going to be lake access. There's going to be a flag lot, so you'd have a lake access, a lake frontage lot, and then one in the back that had a flag that ran down with dock access. Does that make sense? So, I talked to some other builders about, what they thought. And again, it's still kind of a speculative area as far as what's going on. So then I just started calling around for option three, just to look to, I got it at a great deal, I'll sell it, make a little money, just sell it fast. So before I even bought it, I got my payoff letters from the short sale lender, and I called around and found a buyer, called a bunch of builders and ended up calling the neighbor, who's an eminent domain attorney and owns several properties around there. And we got a deal together, so I had him in place to buy it before I even purchased it. And if you know anything about short sales, yes, I did it legally. I was with the payoff letters. I didn't violate any resale restrictions, blah, blah, blah. But that's a different matter. So...
and why did you decide to sell it then, as opposed to, how much money would you have made if you had kept it and split the lots, do you think?
Well, again, there was speculation as far as, if I split the lots and then developed one and sold off the other, there were several different options. But again, and this was back in July and August, and the market had really started to plateau then. There was sort of, signs of a shift. It kind of flattened out then, maybe whether it was the elections or whatever. So again, I was just to spec something and go in and build, put a couple $1 million into I'll let someone else who has tens of millions of dollars do that. So because no one was really sure, because again, it's a little early in that area. Everything's kind of moving west from Fairbanks. They're doing a lot of development in the Killarney area of Winter Park, but it's still a little premature. So anyway, not familiar with these slides because you edited it. But
yeah, you paid $405.
I paid $405. Yeah. I got resold it for $450, and didn't have to pay any real estate commissions or anything. And anyone could have done this because they were willing. I asked them, I was like, hey, look, why don't you just fund the purchase for me? We'll do some paperwork, and then I'll give it to you, because otherwise I'm going to have to take I'm going to have to get a private loan myself. So they're like, well, we'll give you 440 if you do that. So I was like, no. So I put half down, got a private loan for the other half, very inexpensive private loan. So, but you wouldn't have, does everyone understand that you could have done this literally with zero cash because the buyer would have given me my mortgage when I purchased the property if I wanted, it would have cost me $10,000, but $43,000 infinite return isn't bad, is it? So yeah, it was a $53,000 gross profit. Not bad for 8 days.
Excellent. Yeah, and the 12 commission up there, that was your commission you earned.
That was, when I paid $405, that's another thing, is I got a $12,000 commission credit when I purchased it, okay, because I'm a licensed agent. So my actual net purchase was
12 less than that?
Yeah. What's that? 393. So that's why the gross profit is 53K, because I got that credit back.
Excellent. Thank you, Clay. And any questions from the audience?
Any questions?
Yes. So Clay, how long did it take the short sale to happen? From the time you got involved until the day it closed, how long was that process?
I was able to come in and get the short sale approval done, get the new BPO ordered, and get the short sale approval done within about 90 days. And then I was able to buy about 2.5 months time to do my research. Because again, in order to get the lot split, I needed to get the septic variance done, and then that was going to have to be escalated to the Development Review Committee at Orange County, and that's a whole other story. But I'm sure I would have probably gotten it done, but I needed that time. But in the end, I ended up just doing this. So.
Any other questions? Tina?
Yes.
What's the plan of the buyers? They building for themselves, or they're going to split the lot?
It's actually the neighbors. His father bought it. They're big developers up in the Panhandle. So, and he has a big, double lot next door. He's like, you're putting together a compound there or something. I don't know. They've got a lot of land there. And, but he had told me that they're just planning to use it just for his parents to come down and have a place to stay. But I know from a long-term standpoint, again, because from a 3 to 5 year, looking out 3 to 5 years, I mean, it's definitely going to be a great area, if not sooner.
Any other questions?
Could be. Again, it's about speculation.
One more. How fast can you get a hold of $200,000 private money? How did you do it? How were you able to do it?
Well, how can I do it? Well, again, I've got private money lenders, and I can get it tomorrow if I needed to. So.
Yeah. Because you've got a reputation for dealing with people.
Yeah. I just said, hey, look, and plus I was putting half down, so 50%. A 50% loan is really a no-brainer.
Safe.
So.
Okay. Thanks very much, Clay. Thank you.